Hey guys, so I don't usually show my face, so I won't later. Anyway, you guys, so welcome to a video where the explanation of my characters. Alright, anyway, so I'm gonna make this clear. Anyway, welcome back to a video, I guess, which I don't say that. Anyway, you guys, I just have a song stuck in my head and I can't get it off, so that's why I may be talking a little slow. Anyway, you guys, so today we're gonna be this video is about how so this video is a little bit special. Not special, but I'm saying this video is a little bit of an explanation. Take that. Anyway, so today's video topic is about my characters. You guys don't even know what characters I'm talking about that I created. Naomi and Felix. So these are the twins. They're also known as the twins. Now those twins were made by me. Now I might as well know better. Keep this up. I will tell you how they were created. How about that? So I will tell you guys how they were created. If you guys don't know how the twins look like, you may see it on my banner. You can see it on my thumbnails, or you can even see it right now. Right now, you can tell that those are the characters I've made at around 2020 or 19 or 18. So I'm gonna tell you guys something. Before I tell you guys, there's gonna be a couple of steps how this is gonna go. Alright. Anyway, so I will tell you guys about these characters and how they were created and how this is gonna go. Yeah, whatever. Or how the twins were made. Half of them have my personality. By the way, this is gonna be a long video. If y'all don't want to watch it, click off and go watch something else that you guys love. Whatever. I just had a little argument like 2 hours ago, and I didn't want to expose it anymore. All right, I'm gonna go drink water, and then let's start. Okay. Anyway. First, we're gonna go over to the first one. Okay, introduction. Okay, so let me introduce you guys the twins. Now, for the people who don't know what their names are, once again, their names are, the girl's name is the one with the red jacket who looks like a half poem girl. Naomi, you guys. Yeah, it's because I don't even know why I was watching Carol just a few like around 3 hours ago when I got that name stuck on me. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so restart again. So like I said, you guys, her name is Naomi. Naomi Anastasia Ochoa. I don't know why I had the middle name, but I'll explain in a minute. And now the boy's name is Felix Luke Ochoa. Now you might as well know better. Why are they middle names like this, or last names are named like that? I'm gonna tell you a thing. I created these characters earlier, back in 2018. How? They were not like this yet. Naomi was not even a feminine yet. She wasn't actually an early twin. Know what I'm saying? I made the twins earlier at around 2018. I made 2 twins. So let me tell you guys a thing. I was obsessed with making comics, and let me see if I can find the journal. So like I said, because I have a lot of things in down here. I've been busy at school lately, and I haven't even. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, found it. Anyway, so yeah, camera moves a lot. Anyway, so today, like I said, so we're gonna be seeing how the introduction went. So for starters, these 2 twins became the center of me. So let's just say this. I created characters back then, alright? Let me tell you guys a thing. So, these 2 twins were actually remade on a twin thing I did back in 2019. So let's just clearly say the 2 twins I'm talking about from the earlier days were actually before I named those names. What I'm saying? I'm saying that the twins were not a boy and girl yet. They were both boys. And what were their early names? Naomi's early name was called Lucas, and Felix's early name was called Jake. Jake and Lucas. Yes! Because one time I told DK if I named her. I don't know if I think I have a feeling I annoyed her one time and she was like, just call her Jake and Lucas. That's it. I have a feeling that happened. I don't know what. It's not making me remember. Anyway, but like I said, I got the comics. This was back in 2019. I'm gonna actually put it on screen as well if you guys can't see it, or maybe you can. Anyway, so let me show you. This is how they look like. Secondly, I just put the camera straight through my face. Yeah. Anyway, so let's go see the reveal. Let's see the second one. The introduction is done, but let's go move on. Okay, now how did they look like at the beginning? Before, middle, and now. Now let me tell you guys a thing. There is no middle, but there is the three drawings I've done. So back in the past, at around 2018, I've seen there were twins before. At school, I seen a lot of people with twins, or had twins, brothers or sisters at a school. I've seen it a lot. So why don't I at least tell you guys something? So how did the twins look like back then when they were in their earlier days? For starters, they look like this. See? Now this is the early Naomi and Felix. May not look nothing like it, but that's what I can do. So in this comic, I was obsessed with Animal Crossing a lot. You may tell that's Isabel right here. I do not think so. This was before. Fun fact: this was before I loved Ashley. By the way, I loved it when it was in 2019. Anyway, but actually, I started liking her in 2019. First was Penny. Anyway, but like I said, we got the twins, and we got ourselves with the Animal Crossing thing, right? So I had to point out which is which, right? Now these were the early twins. Early twins. Alright, and now next up, how do they look like next? Afterwards, the step happened, they look like this. Coincidence? No? Actually, they look like that. And they looked just like this. Old comic, old school. They call it like that. I think it's old school. Anyway, so that's how they look like. Now, let me tell you guys a thing. Why were they created in the first place? So here's the thing. I always wanted to have a twin brother, or just a twin brother. Anyway, so in that time, I wanted to have like a twin brother. But I never had a chance. So instead, I decided to make my own imagination. So y'all know my friend clearly made a lot of her own characters. I'm like, wait a second, maybe I can make my own. Like, I can just make two boy versions of me. Technically, these two were not supposed to be twins at all. But yeah, so I made those actually from my little neighbors that I visited before. One time I wanted to add them in my comics, so I did. And I began pretending that I was her big sister. So I did. And it did the thing. They were born. Now, they were born right there. Unfortunately, it didn't become great because somehow it became a little bit cringy for me to draw them. And for starters for that, why didn't I just, took them off the platform? I couldn't, because these two were my favorite children of all. And they were became like brothers or sisters. Be real. Now for that, I didn't want to have that. The date, I don't remember what date I discontinued, but the day, let's just make it into 2019. That's where the twins were discontinued. No more of them. Sayonara. Actually, there is one character that was discontinued officially. I made another brother imagination in the comic. His name was Sergio, but I took him off because he's actually discontinued permanently, but I'm thinking if he can be a comeback for the podcast. I don't know what kind of thing we're gonna do. Anyway, but like I said, with that being said, that's how they got discontinued. sayonara, people. Just kidding. Alright, move on next. Alright, now, how did I remake these guys? How did they come back? Alright, so how did these two twins came back? Alright, so at around 2020, where I was playing a game in my Citra 3DS emulator. And guess what it was? A game called Tomodachi Life. Where, for the people who don't know what that is, it's just basically a game. You can just create your own avatars and have a personality, etc, 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 etc. I'm so sorry, you guys, saying etc. Corruption too. Anyway, so it's just basically a me game where you can create your own me's, like avatars, and then right there you can make them have personality, love, hurt, rejection, etc. And then there you can make babies right there. I don't know what to say. Well, yeah, afterwards, yeah. Then this is what happened once. One day I decided to make my own characters. Somehow I created characters from other video games, I guess. And well, I decided to create my games. My characters. I just said games. Anyway, so I decided to make my own characters. So when the time I was there, I was like, you know what? It's time for you to start making your own characters. And so I did. So this is how I'm gonna tell you guys how these two were born. Now, well, it's not born. Anyway, so like I said, it's not born, okay? They were already born. Anyway, but like I said, here's the thing. So, where the part I created in Tomodachi Life, I wanted to make my own two characters where they can fall in love or be siblings. And you know what I just did? I created a boy. And I was like, you know what? I will see if I can remake the twins right there into a different version. And so I did. So I remade one. I remade a boy. And I named him the one it had to be. So I didn't want them to be, how do I say? I didn't want him to be blonde anymore because I didn't have blonde hair. Look at me. Do I have blonde hair? I have brown hair. Anyway, but like I said. So yeah. So that twin was officially remade. And what was his name official? His name was Felix. Okay, now for the people who don't know why I just pronounced Felix into Felix. So Felix to Felix. Here's the thing. I actually like to pronounce it Felix, but which in reality it's supposed to be called Felix. And I sometimes get confused. The reason why I just named that name is because here's the thing. I've enjoyed that name back then, and then I wanted to always name a kid named Felix. I had like a little mini hand sanitizer where I named him Felix, and yeah. To be honest, actually right before I named him, his real name actually was gonna be Chuck. Oh my, I was like, didn't you promise you're gonna make a Felix me? And so I did. And until I made that free Felix meme, what I just got, it was nothing, but it was such a bad idea. And what I just did, I actually left him with the name Chuck. And I was like, yep, Chuck it is. And so I got the personality as him, as smart, intelligent, and etc. And then next up I made the girl twin, which it was another remake from the other twin. And I was like, you know, I don't want to make two boy twins anymore. I just gonna want to make it as a twin, girl and boy. And I wanted to make it like, you know, one of those twins, like boy or girl, boy or girl. And then that being said, until I created her, I was like thinking, what name should I name her? And I was like, I'm just gonna call her Naomi. Now for the thing, you guys, Naomi been my favorite name back then as well. However, in 2012 or in 2013 or 14, maybe possibly, or 15, I actually love the name. I think one time I was watching YouTube and somebody saying Naomi, that's where I started loving the name. Until later on when I was in I think in 2019, where I got in trouble. One time I was in the office there was some girl named Naomi and some guy was like, Naomi. I actually love that name. I was in trouble in that time, by the way. But like I said, I love the name Naomi. And then what happened next? I decided to actually name my own character Naomi. And so I was like, you know what? I enjoyed that name already. So I just decided to name her. And so I did. And her last name was actually clearly unknown. But to be honest, I wanted these two to be good. So yeah. So that's how Naomi was born. And with Felix, which is Chuck, I decided to rename him. So I renamed him Felix. So I was like, you have to call him Felix. Chuck does not fit. Imagine if these two were related. Chuck and Naomi. Golly. I actually shortly renamed him Felix. Because I feel like the name Felix fits on him. But you guys might as well know better. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah. And now that's how these two were born. But how did these two become rivals in the first place? Now let's say this. And around Tomodachi life, I see Naomi as a kind person, but I took it too far, making her rude, greedy, or even stubborn, or sometimes like an emo girl. But she's not an emo girl. To be honest, I'm gonna explain that actually in a minute. But yeah. And let's just clearly say with Felix and Naomi were not getting along with each other. And they did not even recognize each other since day one. Literally, they haven't recognized each other and they never talked to each other since day one. Literally. And afterwards, I was like, I wanted these two to become relationships with each other, but nope. They decided not to do it. Screw it. And so I was like, you know what if I just make these two twins and twin rivals once again? Perfect. Even better than Mama. I'm just kidding. It's because even though the Cook Star is being popular now, I still am willing to get the game. Anyway, but like I said, yeah, and that's how Segway she was born, and how these two were born. Now, as you may continue, to be honest, Naomi is basically a girl who technically wears a lot of a coat, right? Well, let's just clearly say I do have a few screenshots of Naomi and Felix. Well, I have a lot of Naomis actually, but I did capture since the day 3 these two together. Don't believe me? Here's a picture. It's kind of actually hard, and it took me a little bit longer to see because I have a lot of Tomodachi live games. Yeah. Afterwards, when a Citra decided to just corrupt themselves, I started crying, to be honest, because my Mies were disappeared. Due to my island being deleted, I had to actually recreate my characters. Now, I recreated my character Naomi in Tomodachi Collection. And Tomodachi Collection basically is another game, which is like the basic one from Tomodachi Life. Right there, you guys. Right there, Tomodachi Collection is basically like a Japanese game. Tomodachi means friend in Japanese, fun fact for the people who don't know. But yeah, but like I said, yeah, and then afterwards, I actually decided to make Naomi wear glasses. The other early Naomi, she was supposed to wear glasses. I don't know about wearing like that, but still. Anyway, she wore glasses in Tomodachi Collection, but then let's just say in the earlier versions, she did wear glasses. And she was cold, stubborn, and even like that emo girl. And she never smiled, to be honest. With Felix, he had like some random cut, and he became like a scared person. So yeah, and let's just clearly say Naomi never became the smart one. And an unknown fact, you gotta know better. Those are just random crumbs that I just have found on my desk. Those are just, I think they're peanuts, you guys. It's because I'm mashing them while making this video. Don't make fun of me. Anyway, but like I said, so let's just say this. Let's just say, here's the thing. Let's just say that Naomi and Felix were a little bit different. Let's just clearly say this. Now, Naomi, the earlier Naomi clearly had glasses once again. She was, like I said, she was stubborn, cold, but not that greedy. She was like that non-smile emo girl. I didn't make her emo, but she's basically kind of like an emo. Don't know. Anyway, but like I said, yeah, basically a little bit of emo. Whatever. But yeah, then you can say Felix was that other smart guy who decided to actually become the scared one, and the other people, literally. I do have a picture though, wherever that picture is. Oh, I found it. Yeah, it's on the floor, by the way, because I do have a mess in this desk right here. I can tell a little bit. Anyway, but like I said, I don't even have a mess. Whatever. Yeah, but yeah, anyway. But like I said, that's how these two were in the earlier versions. A little bit in the earlier version where these two were already created. Let's clearly say that back then when I wanted to make those two characters like the earlier versions, I actually decided to, recreate them again. Because I didn't want to have like a stubborn girl right there. And I don't even know if I'm going to make that story pretty soon called like the stubborn versus the scared shy bi. But I want shy bi. I'm going to make it the shy bi. Anyway, but yeah. Wanted to make it like a stubborn girl versus shy bi podcast. I don't know if y'all want to hear that, but if y'all want to hear it, just tell me in the comments. Because I'm thinking if I can make that earlier version story right there. Literally, yeah. Also, let's just say that's how these two were created. But let's just say immediately I remade Felix and Naomi immediately. I remade those two immediately with something else. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make Naomi be happy, just like I am sometimes. But I gave her half of my personality though. Not one of the personalities I like, but Felix has my personality as well much. Let me tell you guys the thing, half of it. Now, that's how the twins were born. But clearly, let me explain. So, most of y'all know, Naomi wears the jacket a lot, does she? Well, to be honest, you guys, you know the reason why she wore a jacket? She clearly got it from me, because I gave it to her. You know why? Because here's the thing. Back in 2018, or 19, no, I think in 2017, or, no, 2018 and 19, at school, I always wore a coat. I always wore a coat, and I was like, I always wear a jacket, actually. I always wore a jacket to school. And to be honest, I was like, I don't know why I wore a jacket every time. No, I always wore a jacket as well at around 2019 to 20. And now in this day, I wear a hoodie. I don't even know why I wear a hoodie now. And I don't even know why. Anyway, but like I said, yeah. And then let's clearly say she actually had my other personality too. Because I did wear a jacket a lot at school, and I gave it to her, like saying she wore a jacket like I did. And I was like, why don't we just do that? It'll look fun, literally. And I did. And so I did. And with Felix's clothing, let's just clearly say I got that from Tomodachi Life. Same with Naomi. So I clearly actually remade those so I will not get copyrighted. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna I don't want to get like Nintendo saying that I basically stole their clothes. But to be honest, I actually wanted to do something like recreate something else. Like I'm gonna do the jacket for a little bit. So I did the jacket, like I did Naomi's jacket red and blue. Like they got it from there, right? But when later on I decided to make like my own logo. So I made my own logo. And guess what it is? Blue School. It's the little 8 logo I created, and I was like, you know, that is basically like an 8 logo right there. And basically I just did it. And it's called Blue School. And basically that's a logo of mine, you guys. Basically I've never seen a logo with an 8 before. But if for the people who don't even know, well, for the people who've seen a logo with have an 8, I'm screwed then, maybe. JK. Anyway, so there's a lot of noise, a little bit of a music background, and it might be a copyright claim, so I'm gonna make my own background, whatever. Anyway, but like I said, and that's how, to be honest, yeah. Anyway, but like with that, I did make the Blue School logo, but those little jeans that technically Naomi wears is basically like from Tomodachi Life as well. But I was like, you know what? Why don't I just give her black shoes? Because right there, I can just not, like, you know, make that into that. So basically, these guys were me's. Basically, they were back to drawings. They were twins back then of brothers, and then that. And basically, I remade them as me's, and they're basically just like me's. Literally. And now, these two in this day, I decided to just do that. Yeah. And Felix is basically speaking about his clothing. His basic clothing is like this. To be honest, I'm gonna have to do this a little bit. Spoiler alert, these two go to a random orphanage that is an army. And you basically know Felix came from that orphanage army. Spoiler alert, and let's basically just say he wore that because he wanted to choose his own clothing. And so I made him, like, you know, wear like an army suit thing. And so I let him and made him wear like an army suit thing for like a veteran thing. And I did actually put that on him. So, okay, so he came from they both came from like an army of orphanage, alright? So right there, that's where Felix got his clothing from. The orphanage army. So he decided to like become a veteran when he grows up. Literally. And so I did that. Brown shoes only represent something else, so I won't go through that. And so yeah. And that's how he had his clothing. Yeah? And anyway, so yeah. And by the way, how did I actually create that? And I might as well know better that his clothes were a little bit with the color I wanted to get. But I think I might have to rechange it pretty soon, and hopefully I do it. Literally. Yeah. Well, anyway, let's move on to the final step. Alright, so how did I create the podcast, and how were their middle names and last names created? So, okay. The last names, I clearly forgot the last names. And you know what I decided to do? I decided to give them like a major last name. I didn't have a choice of a last name, so I decided to choose Ochoa. And I was like, Ochoa fits a little bit. So I was in trouble with Naomi, because I was like, Naomi needs to have like a little middle name or last name. So I did, and you know what I gave her? I didn't know a middle name for her, so I had no choice, but I was like, you know what, we're just gonna go with Anastasia. Now for the people who might have known you're calling her Anastasia, I don't even, to be honest, I'm gonna be right honest. I don't even like how the people pronounce Anastasia as Anastasia. So I was like, pronounce it as Anastasia. For the people who can't pronounce it, maybe you guys can say Anastasia. But I don't prefer to call her Anastasia. Anastasia's not even, for me, a good pronouncing. Anastasia is better. Here's the thing, I know Spanish, but the thing is, I used to say Anastasia as Anastasia. But you may say, I say Anastasia as the word of Spanish saying, nombre es Anastasia. And yeah, and that's her middle name right there. With Felix, I didn't have another choice too either, but I didn't have choice, so I had a little choice to see which his middle name would be. And I chose Luke. Luke was my favorite name of all times back then, and when I was in around 2013, somehow there was a kid named Luke, and I was like, I actually like that name, so I decided to use the name Luke for a couple of years now, and I named him Luke all of a sudden. Why is the camera blinking? I didn't know that Kind Master has a cool effect. Anyway, but like I said, yeah. And that's how I got their names. Yeah. And how did I even know? I changed their blonde hair to brown, and that's what I did. Because I didn't want to make them to be blondie. Yeah. And that's how the twins were created. My throat is feeling dry after speaking so much. I drank water after clips and clips. I had to drink water. Yeah. So yeah, and that's how the twins were born. And I do have one more thing to show you guys. Oh, and now I'll show you how the podcast was created back then, okay? So, at around 2020 and in December, on a Christmas time, I decided to make my own podcast again. Remember that my life is depressing, right? Well, I wanted to make my own podcast, and I did. And I was like, I want to make a podcast about two twins who are rivals. And so I recreated them. And how did I do that? Okay, to be honest, I actually redrew these guys after when the Citra gave me a glitch. I decided to redraw them, and I draw them in my phone. I actually drew them right there and around my other journal, which I cannot want to find right now. Yeah, but let's just clearly say they were already drawn in a journal, alright? But then afterwards, let me tell you guys a thing. I actually decided to make a podcast about them. And then I did. And I actually drew them. To be honest, I had like a... I forgot how Naomi looked like that, but let's just clearly say that's how... she had like a little... face. You might say it looked like action, but it's not. I'm trying to make these characters exciting, but I can't. But clearly I can't. Literally. So, yeah, I was like, well... that's how it's gonna go. Well, anyway, so, right, let's just say the cover was officially good. And then afterwards, I needed a name for the podcast. And I actually needed a name for the podcast. And how did I actually got the name? Let me tell you guys a thing. Now, I needed a name for the podcast. I was about to call this podcast called The Twins Life. But I was like, it's not a perfect glove. It has to fit something. So I fitted something else. I put a life of a two pair of fraternal twins. Fraternal twins. Basically, these two are fraternal. So I can clearly know that there's like a boy and girl twin, right? I don't even know about difference of a fraternal. So that's what I decided to do. Fraternal twins. And that's how the way I created those two. That's how the name was. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna call it The Life of a Two Pair of Fraternal Twins. And that's how I was born. At around January 1st, 2020, I released the first episode. To be honest, you guys, you might have seen that the episode was released in January 2nd. But to be honest, that's a late episode, you guys. To be honest, the real release is it's January 1st, not the 2nd. That was where the episode actually came out very, very late. So basically, this thing actually came out in January 1st, not the 2nd, 1st. So don't listen to what I just uploaded, okay? And that's how the twins were born, alright? And that's how the podcast was created. And now in this day, I am making the podcast. And if y'all can listen to it in Spotify, literally, I only make it on Spotify, but I don't even know if it's available on other current locations of apps. But we'll see about that until I draw the thumbnail, and I will tell you guys what would happen. Yeah. And that's how the twins were created. Oh, and also before you guys go, I did make the chart. It's not like a chart, but like an evolution of the twins. Now, this is how, like I said once. Ew, there's a hairball. Anyway, so this is how they look once again, like this, all the way to here. Let me tell you guys a thing. Before 2018 and 2002 and 2000 and still 19. With 2018 to 2018 and the earlier. Now this is which one I was talking about. This was the early Naomi and the early Felix. Another early Naomi and Felix. This was actually during 2020. And then Final War. That's how they look like in this day. By the way, I updated Felix with this little bang hair. I decided not to make it close, so I decided to make him like a bang hair. And so I did. And now this is how they look like in this day. All original. And yeah, and that's how the twins were born. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Man, this video is like 30 something long view. I'm just kidding. This video has 36 or 37 minutes. I'm gonna have to cut half through it. The water bottle part. Whatever. Okay, anyway, so yeah. I can't believe this video is like 30 something minutes. Over an explanation of a 30-minute twin. Anyway, so yeah. And that's how they were born. I'm having like pounding on my eye. So it's not like a pounding, but it feels like a whatever. Anyway, so yeah. And that's how the twins were born. You may say this. Remember, guys, I'm gonna tell you guys one thing. If y'all are creating your own characters, just don't research it to the internet. Just draw whatever comes out of your mind. That's a little quote I may say. Don't search up. Look, whenever you make your own character, don't just search it up. Just do it. Your brain is the internet, you guys. Don't search it up. Just draw whatever comes out of your mind, and then just draw it out, and there's your character. I mean it. There are some characters I made a research, but I didn't. Because I didn't have to do that. So there's like 6 layers. First is just draw random characters you like. Second, just turn them into stories or comics. Third, just keep making stories and comics. Fourth, right there you need a sketchbook. Well, actually, first you need a notebook. Second, start drawing your characters you love. Third, make stories. Fourth, make comics. And fifth, right there you can just start drawing whatever you want. And now number 6, make your own character. Basically, I'm in number 6. Remember, 6 layers. If y'all are number 3 or number 6, that means where y'all can actually make your own characters. Alright? So yeah, remember guys, don't search up remember guys, the quote. Remember guys, don't search up the internet, but draw whatever comes out of your mind. Look, don't draw from the internet. Like, don't draw what. Okay. Don't search it up, but use your. Okay, look. Here, remember the quote I just said. Don't use the internet. Just draw whatever comes out of your mind when you draw something. All right. So yeah, and that's how the twins were born. And you may thank me later. And how they were all created like that. Yeah, so you see, that's how they were created, alright? So yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed that video, I guess, for how these twins were created. Right? So yeah. Remember, once again, the quote. Don't search up what you want to draw. Don't use the internet. Just don't use the internet to draw. I'm gonna actually rechange a little bit the quote. Like, don't change the here. Don't use the internet, but draw whatever comes out of your mind. Remember that quote from now. All right. Thank you for watching, and have a blessing day for now. And be safe.